Hello there everyone, and welcome to Hearts of Iron 4. In the past, I've done videos kind of like this, but covering a meme mod specifically. Today though, we'll actually be looking at some useful mods that are intended to make the game better. Maybe one mod that could maybe be a meme mod, but they're all actual real mods this time, I promise. The first mod we'll be looking at is the Dynamic Research Slots mod, and for the record, this mod, if you download it and try to launch it in the Hoi4 mod launcher, it'll say it's out of date and on the wrong version, because yes, it technically hasn't been updated to By Blood alone, but that shouldn't be a problem. You should be able to run it fine. A lot of the other mods are on wrong versions too, but still updated to 1.12, so they're all fine. This first mod though changes the way in which you get research slots. I haven't played with it enough to say if it makes the game worse or better, but it makes it more realistic. Now you get research slots based on your research power, and your research power comes from your civilian factories, military factories, and naval dockyards. Because realistically, how big your industry is should determine how much you're able to research things in the game. I think that makes sense. So like as the US, we start off with an extra research slot because of our research abilities, and you can always get a lot of research slots as the US anyways. You might ask though how this deals with the fact that there are a lot of ways in the game that you get research slots, and the way it reconciles that is it introduces the mechanic of easy research slots, which are research slots that you can get with less research points. So yeah, now instead these focuses that would usually give you research slots just give you easy research slots. So the focuses aren't completely useless, they just give you bonuses to getting slots instead of giving you slots themselves. And as you lose industry too, your ability to research will be decreased. If Japan invades us and we're left only in Florida, a true nightmare, we will only have one research slot probably, and that makes sense because our entire country is occupied. Who's even doing research? It looks like though we still have a 2 research slot minimum, so some countries aren't going to get screwed over like Bhutan and Nepal and stuff, even though you can't really realistically do campaigns as them anyways without a lot of exploits. You can still research stuff as them though, so that's good. And our second mod you may have briefly already seen. It's a very nice mod, something that is obvious for someone to put in the game, and that's making the Caspian Sea actually a sea within how the game handles navies and stuff. So now there's a Caspian Sea navy, you can have docks in the Caspian Sea. It doesn't connect to any of the other oceans of course, but now you could technically do naval invasions from one side to the other. This is honestly a very cool mod, though it doesn't really accomplish much within the game itself. The reason that it isn't set up this way in vanilla, even though it seems like a nice addition, is because it's not connected to the rest of the ocean. So with how convoys make it to this place, it doesn't really make sense. Also, since you can't get other ships into this place, any ships built here are kind of stuck here, and they're pretty much useless, and the AI would probably accidentally be building ships here all the time. Either way though, it's something that I've wanted to do in the past, and it is a very nice mod that doesn't really have too many downsides from like a player's perspective. The only main issue is that if you use any other mod that changes the map, it's not going to be compatible with this mod. Other than that, there are no problems. It's just a cool mod that might confuse the AI, but otherwise a cool mod. But like I said, if you're using that map mod, you cannot use this map mod, the Realistic Provinces Luxembourg map mod. This is not the first mod that has given Luxembourg more provinces. That seems to be a very common theme in Hearts of Iron 4 modding, is giving Luxembourg more provinces. I haven't seen one that gives them this many provinces, but I've seen a lot of them. There's been the Big Chungus one, there's been the Among Us one too, that just changed Luxembourg completely. This mod is unique though, because it makes every single one of these provinces a state with several building slots, so Luxembourg is very overpowered, and some of these states just have 0 people living in them. I think people should technically live here if there are factories here, but yeah, now Luxembourg is just as strong as the Netherlands and Belgium, which is, I don't know why this is called Realistic Luxembourg Provinces. I guess provinces are realistically drawn. You would think it would just make all of these as provinces within the one Luxembourg state, it wouldn't add 10 new states to the game, but that's okay. I love Luxembourg and we all love Luxembourg, and any mod that makes Luxembourg overpowered is great. The one weakness this does present though is now you can't just build a big fort and protect it, because you would lose your entire country, or you'd have to build forts on a ton of different tiles now. Fourth, we have probably the least well-balanced of any of these mods. I guess I don't know if it's terribly balanced, but I can't imagine a world in which this would be balanced. It's the Manpower to Industry mod. It lets you spend manpower to get factories. It looks like you also have to spend war support, so that makes it more complicated, so you can't just spam this decision forever. In vanilla and in most balanced mods, a war support is kind of difficult to maintain when in an offensive war, so I guess this isn't too crazy, but this mod does allow you, if you're not playing Luxembourg and playing a country that has a ton of manpower like the Soviets, to use some of that manpower to make factories and such. Like the war support cost, I don't think that makes much sense in terms of how the mod is described, but I do think that war support cost will make the mod much more balanced. So that's a good thing, I guess. And last but not least, we have the all-important mod that adds to the map Las Vegas. Also, I don't think there's this urban terrain around Las Vegas in vanilla either, so I think they did change the terrain map a bit too. So yeah, great mod. Now you can attack Las Vegas. You own Las Vegas as the US. I guess, wait, are there no victory points in Nevada and vanilla? That's kind of... You know, this mod would fit in perfectly with the gambling Hoi4 mod. Now that was a real good Hoi4 mod. The mod where you just played Texas Hold'em the entire game to make, what was it, political power? Yeah, here we go. This is how I like to play Hearts of Iron 4 personally. This is the only way I can get through the early game as the US. Not doing anything until 41. Even if you go one of the ahistorical routes, you're probably not going to do anything until 1940. Might as well play this.